Right now, you're thinking that AI is wreaking havoc on art and your income from it. But what if I taught you how to reverse that? And to prove it, I'm going to teach you several structures while you watch me draw this today that have allowed my art business to not only be untouched by AI, but have actually tripled my profit since it came out. And by the end of this video, you'll know how to grow and sustain an art business that will not only be unaffected by AI, but you'll thrive in spite of it. Starting off, we need to rip off a big ugly band-aid is that social media is not the right place for you to grow your art business, especially for y'all that are freelancing. Now, if you're actually trying to sell product or merchandise that require this, I got you in a minute on this one. But for everybody that's freelancing, please know this. The number one reason why you feel that AI has decimated your art income is because you've been relying on this one. And I've literally been saying this for years, since way before AI even came out. And so let's just accept a few things. Social media is a wish and not a strategy. In other words, there's no guarantee that genie is ever going to come out of that bottle and grant you your wish to make you popular. It's also a terrible metric for you to gauge what you're able to get and not able to get. Like, for example, it's just stupid and silly for you to think that you have to have a certain subscriber or follower count for you to get the pricing that you want. That's just dumb. And I know this is a weird contrary thing, but just for myself, I don't have any following anywhere. Like, even if you're looking at my YouTube subscriber count, I've only ever gotten one commission off of it, and it's not even in my niche. The other thing I want us to now accept is that we've lost the war of attention when it comes to social media, okay? And so what the algorithms are wanting is basically brain rot entertainment. Artists are not going to provide that. There are artists that do exceptionally well online. Caveat. That is not guaranteed to almost anybody. And there are such a few people that are actually able to do this. There's no guaranteed strategy. There's no guaranteed win. There is not a method that actually works for any social media platform. So you putting all your eggs into that really leaky basket, it just doesn't make sense. And so just to put this into perspective for you, you can't compete as an artist who's trying to get clients online versus people who might be using AI and they're able to go ahead and push out 5 or 6 posts to your one image. And then on that note too, social media is not designed for you to put out an artwork or your commission sheet, which you shouldn't do either, by the way, we'll talk about that, and expect to get that have more attention than a video. They're all meant and designed for video content and for retention. Static images or process videos of your art are just not cutting it anymore. And so the best way I like to go ahead and do this is say that you can either go fishing or you can go to the fish market. And so my major thing that I've been able to do, and I teach people how to do all over my channel, is how to go to the fish market. In other words, how to go where clients are that want to pay you money, that want to buy your product. And that is the best way for you to market your stuff, not to go ahead and put it out there for 9,000 teenagers that are totally broke. But the first key for you to understand is that you need to give up your reliance on social media because you're hoping for it to produce something, but all it's going to produce is, unfortunately, your downfall, because I've been seeing it that way for years. Next, as somebody who's been freelancing for over a decade here, most of the time when I go ahead and I take a look at how people are setting up their freelance business or how people are setting up their art business, and there's one common thread that I've been noticing for a long time that I think AI has exacerbated for a lot of artists. And so a lot of times what people like to do is to avoid talking to people and avoid actually having any interaction with a human being on any level. And one of the key truths that you must accept is that if you want to do more art business, it's not going to be from you appearing that you are a robot. And so the biggest key thing that I want to impart to you right now is that if you want your art business to survive anymore, you have to humanize everything as much as possible. Key fact, the more that you humanize, the better you will monetize. And so let me give you some key points on this one. For example, so many times have I had the opportunity to review somebody's stuff on my channel. And I noticed that they have a commission sheet or they have a Google form that they have to fill out if somebody is interested. Or that they'll just go ahead and have an artistry account, which by the way, artistry sucks, don't use it. And all you're doing in all of those circumstances is you're avoiding actually having any meaningful discussion with a human being. And so to challenge that, the reality is that higher paying clients and people that want to buy art want to interact with you, the artist. I know it sounds crazy, right? And the more that you are rejecting that reality, the more that you're rejecting your possibility. And every single thing that I've done over the last 12 years of having my art business is to humanize everything. Automation does not exist in any freelance market. Please understand that. And it's actually not that hard either. So just to give you a couple examples, if anybody wants to commission me, they have to reach out to me in a DM and we have a full-on conversation. I understand their product, I understand what their goals are, I understand what I have to make for them. On another note too, I run a mentorship. If people want to join my mentorship, I have them get on a Discord audio call with me and I actually talk to them about it and I learn about their goals and I learn about what I can do to help them. Here's another thing too. So again, let's say that you're not in the freelance business. Let's say that you're trying to sell your merchandise, right? This is where you might need social media. So just adversarial to my last point. All of your content you're making needs to humanize what you're doing. So many clients are out there and art buyers, and they want to make sure that they're buying from a human, not an AI bro, because they actually respect art. Yes, there are a lot of people that still do this. I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But you need to make content not that is just here's my stickers and here's my stuff and here's my print. No, show yourself behind the scene. I've advised people on this strategy for quite a while and it works really, really well. Okay. People that are selling at conventions, it's the same thing. People love to see behind the scenes and what you're doing and what you're making and your packing, shipping and everything that you're going to go ahead and do to prepare for that. That's awesome. People love that stuff. The more that you're humanizing your content and your delivery and your marketing, the more you're going to win, and AI bros can't have a hope at touching any of that, ever. But everything that you do, friend, has to now involve you forming a bond, forging a connection with another human. So what are you doing right now or not doing right now that is preventing that? Moving on. The next big thing that I really want to wrap your mind around is that AI is not perfect. It's never going to be perfect. And you might think, well, oh my God, now this came out. And what you're not doing enough is you're not investing into what AI can't do. Y'all at the basis, please understand this. Art is not about you making an image. Computers can do that. They've been able to do that for quite a while, even before AI came out. There's this thing called clip art that came out in the 90s, by the way. And the more that you lean into all of the things that AI cannot do, the more you're going to triumph over everybody trying to make it work based upon that. And so one of my big selling points, aside from the fact that I don't use AI, I've been exploiting things that this silly software will absolutely never be able to do. Like just for example, it can't tell stories. Y'all that are just trying to produce a better looking picture, just to be honest with you, that's not what sells art. It's a very small fraction of it is like what the reference of what you're given is or what the scope is. It's about you actually telling a story. It's about you inserting meaning and depth into your work. It's about you being able to pull off dynamics, like taking what a client has in mind and transforming it above what just the generic representation of this is, okay? I know that right now you might be freaked out. You might think that it's technically more proficient than you. You have a voice. You have a story. You have elements in your work. Or you might think, well, Sean, I don't have a style. Let me just tell you, your style does not matter as much as you think it does. What matters is what elements are you bringing out? Are you big into dynamics? Are you big into a certain aesthetic? Are you big into certain types of stories? Are you big into certain types of moods? Y'all, this is your moment and your opportunity. Please hear me. You have to amplify that. That is what's going to help you kill it over all of these people trying to use AI in their art process and art making, or some AI bro that's trying to invade your territory. They won't be able to do it because they don't get it. And if you're not sure how to do this, make sure you hit that like and subscribe, by the way, because I'm coming at you every single week to teach you this kind of stuff. And you will find no greater wealth in this platform on how to make it as an art freelancer with an art business or just a general growing artist than right here on this channel. And if you're also enjoying this, share with somebody that you know, and please hit that hype button so that this gets pushed out to more artists just like you. Now, you feel this pressure from this ever-growing monster that is AI, and you feel like, wow, it's getting better, or you might feel some level of dread and agony over what you used to have, and now you don't have it, you have this instead. Here's one thing that I know for a fact is really going to help you grow over time. It's going to help you succeed and or gain back everything, because this is something that I've been doing since even I got my first client. You forget about your growth, and it's easy for you to just go ahead and just discard that need and that desire for you to constantly get better when you're working for clients, when you're working in your business, or when you're working to make prints and you feel like you have to only do the things that you have to do because you have to do them, because you have to satisfy your client and you have to go ahead and meet this deadline. And so what that tends to do is it forces you to somewhat give up this actually really powerful need and component of your artwork for you to challenge yourself. And so every single artwork that I do for anybody is I insert my own personal challenges into them. If you look at my artwork over the last 5 years, you'll see how this is kind of evident. And so what I do is I just identify 3 things in every artwork. And I identify what's the focus. In other words, like, where should I look at in this work? What's the mood? I need to have some type of human reaction to this. I need an emotive response. When you look at mine, how do you feel? How does it make my client feel? That might be something that they tell me. It might be something that I make up. I'll get to that in a second. And finally, I insert a learning objective. What's something new that I haven't done before? What's something that I'm excited to try out? What's something that I've tried to do before I didn't succeed at? I want another go at. Y'all, the way that you get more art business is not staying busier. It's from you growing. And you can't discard your growth in favor of being busy. And I get how that hustle works. Nonetheless, this is a powerful component that AI will never understand, nor AI users. And you might even be at me right now saying, well, Sean, AI is getting so much better. Why can't you? Why can't you get better? Where are you going? Y'all, you watching this right now, you've got so much time left on this earth. You have infinite, extraordinary potential. But if you believe that you don't, then you're right. If you believe that you do, you're also right. Because as Descartes says, I think, therefore I am. If you think that you can't grow, then that's a kneecap that exists in your mind and not in your reality. So make sure you're embracing what you need to do and what you could do in order to bring out the best version of you and your art business, and especially your art income. Next, big level up tip for you. This is going to be one that if you've been watching my content for a bit, I'm going to speak to you on something you've heard me say before. But for everybody new here, you need to go ahead and stop trying to get everybody to like your art. I know that sounds weird. Instead, shift to serving one specific audience. The one general thing that AI art, which it isn't even art, it doesn't mean any definition of it. One thing that it tries to capitalize on is that it seems like it can please everybody, like it's a Chinese super buffet. And y'all, please understand this. You're not a taco. You can't please everybody. You can't be doing 3 different styles and 3 different render levels, and then you trying to start 5 art businesses and expect to kill it in any one of those. And so what I realized when I was in my earlier stages of growing and starting my art business is that you serving one specific niche is the mega superpower to you really taking off. And so as opposed to you casting a wide net, because that doesn't work, all that happens is that all the fish swim through the big giant holes in your net because they're not that interested and you don't hold them for it. It doesn't help you. Instead, you narrowing down, it's like a laser beam, and it's going to help you succeed more than ever. And just to put myself up for your consideration, I used to try that other approach. I used to try to get everybody. I used to try and get people from my social media. And again, I don't have a following. I never have. And I probably never will, and I'm okay with that. And I also tried to do a bunch of different genres and a bunch of different niches. And then I realized this is hurting me. It's not helping me. It's not assisting in me getting more prospects. All it's doing is it's cheapening me. The thing that we have to grow out of as an artist is thinking like an artist. Just to be real with you, just because you make art is not that special. to a client. A client doesn't look at your work and say, wow, look at this beautiful drawing of this ninja. Can you do my fantasy book cover involving knights and princesses? That's not how it works. They don't think like that. An artist will, but non-artists don't. And you're working with predominantly non-artists. And another big thing that you need to know too, I want to bless you with this wisdom, is that people don't buy your art. What people do is they look through your offerings and they buy you based on the example that you have made and provided that aligns to their vision of what they thought they would like it to look like. Now I'll teach you how to supercharge that too in a little bit. But serving one specific niche and audience is powerful. I'll give you another example right here on YouTube right now. The way that I talk, the content that I deliver, and most definitely the type of artist that I'm speaking to. I know that the people that use AI within their workflow, they're not going to watch me. I'm okay with that. I'm also completely okay with alienating the entire AI Art Bro community. I don't care because I'm here to serve you. I actually care about artists. I want artists to win. I want artists to succeed. And I know that by serving just you, then I'm helping my fellow human. And I believe in this cause. And so by you serving one specific niche and one specific audience and one specific style is going to be your mega superpower above everybody else that's trying to be the Walmart of art. Moving on. The next topic that I see a lot of artists feeling very dismayed, very dejected about comes to pricing. And so tell me right now, are you thinking that, oh man, all these AI bros are trying to tread on my territory? To lower my prices. Oh, I used to be able to get 92 commissions and now I only get 15. And now I used to be able to charge this when I went here. Now I can only charge that. Oh, I've got so much competition. And y'all, here's the mega thing that I want to enlighten you to. I want to help you through this. So please hear me out. Your pricing is not an issue. It was never an issue. Value is the issue. The number one thing that I want you to consider in everything that you are doing, in every art endeavor, whether it's personal or commercial, is that you need to bring and summon the most amount of value possible. And let's just take this into a few scenarios, okay? I work with a lot of artists in my mentorship that sell at conventions. And one of the things that I've taught them to do is to not rely on selling things like stickers and prints. No, instead to work more on how to get custom work, how to sell commissions, and how to deliver that process, because honestly, you're going to make 3 times as much doing that as you will as selling anything else in your entire booth. And that's because of that human value, because people love to have something hanging up on their wall in some space that they can tell a story about and say, I went to a convention and that artist made that for me, especially for me. The other thing too is, again, in a freelance market, okay? When I'm working with somebody who they want me to make, this commemorative portrait of their D&D character after a campaign, or if I'm making a particular scene that's at the conclusion of their journey, or if it's a book cover, the number one thing that I'm trying to do is just bring out the most amount of value, because the way that value works is a reciprocal process. And if you're only, or perceivably, only able to get so much money, like if you're like, oh, well, Sean, I can't possibly price more than $25. I don't feel it's worth it. Well, let me just throw it back to you. What are you doing that is worth it? And I don't mean that you think that you need to have, again, a certain subscriber count or anything like that. Like, we don't need to look at it like that. But instead, we just need to take a look at what value are you putting into there? So again, how do people feel when they look at it? How are you expressing those characters? How are you expressing that scene? How are you composing it so that the focus is on the action? How are you focusing on how to go ahead and just deliver that wow factor to that client? And you don't have to be like the most technically proficient person to do this. It's just about you putting in those certain elements and those features, the small little storytelling aspects into this, because narrative matters more than anything. Even for you that wants to sell like prints in an online shop, again, like how are you going to do a Sonic character that has more expression and more personality to it than the other 9,000 people that are also trying to do this, and also AI bros attempting to try on your territory too? It's by doing this. I know that people don't like to hear this, but I just want to go ahead and put this into a relatable context. I've worked a lot of retail jobs. I've worked a lot of customer service jobs, and inevitably, everybody that works in those positions thinks that they can do better than their boss. And then also in those roles, I felt like I'm extremely underpaid for what I'm able to do versus what I think I can do. But the reality is this: the way that capitalism works is very simple. You are paid for your value. And if you're not happy with how much you're paid, the honest truth is that you're not bringing enough value into it. And in an artistic context too, it works the same exact way. If somebody is going to commission you and they want their character and they say, here's the character, you turn it right around and go, there's your character right back. That is a disproportionate relationship of value. And that's why you need to learn how to do better and to do more. And that's why I make videos like this, to help you figure out how to work this out. But you can do this in any art business. So how do you want to bring more value into your artwork and your art business, knowing that? Another thing that I really want to put out there for you here as we move on is that you're going to naturally think that, okay, AI is here. Now nobody buys my stuff. Oh my God, I used to be able to sell all of this. I used to be able to sell this product. I used to be able to sell X amount of quantity. And now that's not happening. And this is also going to go ahead and wrap itself into, you're going to say, well, Sean, this is a bad economy. It's a terrible time to be an artist. We can't sell anything because, the economy is in turmoil. Let me expand this. You might say to yourself, well, hey, I live in a really economically disadvantaged country. I can't sell it for this. Nobody around me is going to buy it at that. And so the next tip I want to give you is that if you're really succumbing to A, the fear of AI impacting your sales, but then B, also you thinking that the economy is impacting it, it's not the case. And that's just because of the fact that I've grown my art business literally in 2 bad economies. I started this over 10 years ago when the economy wasn't great. And so one thing that we get twisted here is that we're going to say, well, people aren't buying my stuff, so therefore they're not buying anything. And that's backwards. The reality is that people just aren't buying your stuff. And I've dealt with this too. Not saying like I'm on top of this perch and you're not. The reality is just simply that you are not hitting the people that you want. It's not getting in front of the people that you want. And so therefore, I just want to ask you, what do you need to do this? Like for myself personally, I was not getting the freelance clients I wanted at one point. I shifted my portfolio. I started to take a look at all of my offerings and saying, okay, what am I not having in here? What is redundant in here? What am I avoiding? What am I not tackling? What new platforms do I need to try? What new strategies do I need to implement? Because an honest reality is that a lot of times artists just sit there and it's not even just an artist thing. It's just an average human thing, is that we'll attain success through one method and then try and replicate that forever. And it doesn't work. Like things change. And if you're concerned about the economy impacting this, y'all, that is such a terrible lie. There have been businesses that have been birthed in terrible economies like the Depression, and there have been plenty of businesses and art ventures that have died in the middle of outstanding economies. You can't blame the economy. And if you think I'm wrong, let me ask you this. In this bad economy, are people buying drugs, alcohol, video games, going on expensive trips, buying houses that they can't afford, buying cars that they shouldn't either? Are they doing all that? Oh, they are. But they're not buying your artwork? See, the thing that I realized and I want to convey to you too, it's not because of AI. It's not because of the economy either. It's because of what you're doing or not doing to attract or detract from getting the potential customers and clients that you want to get. And the sooner that you embrace that, the easier of a time you're going to have making the changes, because the onus becomes off of some mystical figure and it gets put back onto you. And guess what? You have the solution. You can control what you do. You can't control the economy. You're not that powerful. Now, one big thing, I want to put it out there. I don't want anybody to be confused about this. I don't use AI at all. I don't use any form of AI. I don't use ChatGPT, and I certainly don't use any form of image or video generation. I really don't understand that. That's like being hungry and eating my own leg. And the biggest thing that I think that a lot of artists have been either bullied into or they've been disillusioned into is that somehow this is going to be an assistive tool within the process. But the thing that I really have felt very powerfully from the beginning, and again, if you disagree with me on that's on you. I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to the artists in the crowd here. The passionate ones that really, really value their work and their growth and their development. You can't shortcut your growth and development. And you can't automate any tasks because, again, you need to humanize everything. So let me just run through a few scenarios that I think are really holding you back. Number one is that you using it as an assistive tool, quote unquote, to go ahead and upscale or re-render or color in or correct your line art. You're literally ruining what you could do in order to actually learn how to grow and succeed above what you're currently able to do and get. If you're using it right now to use as a reference, that's a huge problem. Because if you're doing that, you're also surrendering your imagination. Y'all, I can't say this enough times, but you really need to hear this from somebody. The way that references work are not a one-to-one. They're about three things. They're about you finding possibilities that you didn't know existed. They're about you expanding potential. And finally, filling in the gaps in your knowledge. You looking for the perfect reference, it doesn't exist, nor should it. If it does exist as a perfect reference, like a one-to-one, then that just means, again, you're just going for base generic representation, which does not bring you nor deliver a lot of value. But at no point in any process is AI going to do anything for you. And so the more that you really embrace that, the more, honestly, people will respect you. Because just on the flip side here, like, do you expect people to go ahead and respect you within any community for using AI in any part of your workflow or process? Like, am I supposed to be like, wow, that's so cool, I can't believe you did that? No, because everybody's knee-jerk reaction is always going to be one thing. Oh, you used AI in that? Okay. All right. Well, I mean, maybe it could have been cool if you hadn't have done that. But like, I don't give praise to you. I give praise to the model. And maybe you don't want to hear that, but I really feel like somebody needed to hear that. And I don't want that to be you, because your legacy can't be on how well you use Midjourney. It needs to be about what you created, because that is interesting. Now, there's one certain thing that we all have to let go of. And if you feel that you have suffered from some type of big business loss, from you actually incurring some level of negative profit from the emergence of AI, this is one of the things that I really need you to hone in on me on, because it's going to be how you recover it. All right, y'all. You need to be okay with letting those people go. I understand what some of you are thinking right now, in that you have lost clients to AI, that you've lost some business to AI, that you have lost some income to AI. Caveat, that's okay. An inevitability is that the business that you get at some point is going to also be business that you lose at some point. Because again, business is based on value. People only pay you for the duration of which they need you, and then they don't anymore, and that's it. Because it does you no good to lament that which is already gone. Like, just for example, like, I don't expect people to work with me forever in my mentorship. I don't expect people to commission me until the day that I die. I don't expect people to go ahead, even like by my statistics here on YouTube, like, people don't watch me every single week, or people that watch me, like 70% of you that watch me, by the way, don't even subscribe to me. So if we want to fix that, that'd be awesome. And then also too, you just have to accept the fact that you're going to lose people. Yes, you might quote people a price for something and they say, no, that's too expensive. That's how sales works. And so the biggest group of people that left when AI came out are cheap clients. And the best thing I want to let you know is that it's normal for you at any state, pre-AI, post-AI, to lose business and to not sell to everybody. Here's a real fact. If everybody is buying from you, that means only one thing. That doesn't make you a success. That means that you're too cheap, friend. I'm sorry to say. And so again, using the example of, I see all the time these artists that will put up these reels on Instagram. They're like, I got 102 commissions last year, this year 32. That's a problem. That means that you're cheap. And I don't want that for you, because you have two options in this field. You can have an art busyness where you're just keeping yourself busy to feel good and feel like you're productive for yourself, or you have an art business. The difference is how you respect yourself, how you price yourself, and what you're doing and investing your time. Because I'm just going to be real with you. If you're doing 102 commissions, you're not trying on about 100 of them, because you're just so focused on deadlines and getting things done for the sake of getting them done. But you can't surrender your artists in there too either. And that's going to be one of the biggest things that you can do is to just now have this mindset of it's okay for you not to get people. It's okay that people will say no. It's okay that people will tell you you're too expensive. This is normal. Guess what? There's a whole load of people out there that don't want AI, that don't accept it, and they are going to buy it from you. The problem, though, is that you're still using tactics, like I said earlier, and I want to help you through that. Next, every single time some big, huge new model comes out, every single time that there is some new software or an update, like when Sora went to Sora 2, all of a sudden, I always notice this. On all my videos, everyone's like, Sean, can you tell me about Google Banana? Sean, what about this model? Have you seen what this is able to do? And I'm just going to be very real. As somebody who's been owning, growing, established their business for over a decade here, I just want to let you know this. I could not care less about AI advancements. Why would I do that? And so what I see as a problem for you in this mode of thought, where you're constantly following the news and you're constantly following the drama surrounding it, is that you're literally poisoning your potential. You're letting that negativity seep into you. And you think that feeling, and this is a very common trap. And by the way, this is not new. This is not only on AI, but you're literally just giving into fear mongering. And it's just the silliest thing. The truth reality is that this, before it was about AI, it was the news. The news is, by the way, it's not designed to help keep you informed. It's helped to keep you paralyzed, because the news figured out in the 40s that people will actually not watch the news based on actual happenings and facts. No, it's when you insert negativity and fear mongering into it that they will retain longer. What's the news? It's like, and after this news break, learn why eating meat will kill you tomorrow. And AI works the same way like that. Y'all, if you don't actually know this truth about the AI industry, they're not making money. They're not making any actual profit, okay? When you really look into it, they're really only kept afloat by investors. And that is not going to be sustainable for a long time. It's real simple here. If a business doesn't make a profit, they don't last. And yes, the biggest thing that AI has going for right now is tricks. And it has going for it a showmanship. And it has going for it a lot of lukewarm, surface quality entertainment value for it. The reality is this: the more that you follow that nonsense, the worse you're going to get, the worse you're going to feel, and the worse you're going to perform. Because if you, the human, get affected, you, the artist, are also similarly impacted. And that's not going to help grow you, friend. It's certainly not going to help your business out either. And I just want to put this out to you. It's okay for you to just pick a side like I've done, and I just said, I don't care about AI. The only time I learn about something new, quite honestly, is when I get a message or when I get a comment about something new. And I'm like, what's that? And even then, I don't put a lot of stock into it. I take a look at it, I have the same reaction as always, which is like, oh, wow, a new trick. But guess what? I can develop new tricks. You can develop better tricks. You have infinite potential. Y'all, the scouring, stealing, thieving machine of AI is limited to what has been done. You're not. And you have real human experiences. It does not. If you're latching onto those things and you're making yourself feel inferior, then you're also helping it win. Y'all, you have to stop this cycle. It is okay for you in anything in life to say, this is the life that I choose, and therefore I don't care about the other version of other potentials in there. You have to kill some potential in order to make way for the one that you want to have happen. I've learned this through a lot of different trials and tribulations, and I want you just to embrace your creative life and stay with it, because there is no hope for you as an artist and as a creative if you give into this nonsense and it just helps you give up. Because I'm just going to be real with you here. If AI makes you give up or quit, or your lack of attention online helps you give up or quit, you're already trying to figure out some reason to quit. It just presented you with a really convenient excuse. But I don't think that you really want that either. Now, a big concern that I get from a lot of artists like you is that they'll say that, well, this is just the worst time to be an artist. Oh my God, I can't believe I started now. Or, hey, are you young? Are you like, man, life is so much easier before AI. And that's why I'm not able to do this. Oh, well, you people had it easy. You used to be able to just do this. You used to be able to just post your commission sheet and say like, yeah, this is it. And that's not going to be the case anymore. That's not true. I just want to put it out there. You think that AI is this big juggernaut that's come and just forced artistic Armageddon onto the world. And it's not. For you as an artist, every hope and dream that you have deserves to be kept alive for you and for people that need it in their life. I want to let you know this, that regardless of what people tell you, or regardless of what you've been fear-mongered into believing, there's a lot of potential for you. There's a huge market for art. And another thing I want to let you know gently is that there's more people than ever now coming out of that AI bubble. People that thought it could do things, but they're learning all of its limitations. And most importantly too, how your dreams don't need to die just because a machine can cosplay as an artist, because it will never be able to effectively do the things that you'll be able to do. And I understand where a lot of this fear comes from, where it's demotivating you. And that's why I want to let you know that AI didn't kill your art dreams. And if you want to keep them alive, here's some stuff that you can do. So to help you do that, I made this video for you right here. Go ahead and go check it out. And if this helped you, please share it with somebody that you know. Thanks so much and see you next time.